Thanks for your patience, y'all. She'll be right back. There we go.
Hey, Stephanie.
Oh, that was a creepy voice. Okay. All right, I'm back.
Hi,
Okay,
Ellen.
does that work now?
You're good. We're recording, so we're good to go.
Awesome. Okay, I think this is everyone. I am going to strap my mask on and we are going to take a brief tour of the shelter. I'm just going to kind of show you some of the areas I'm assuming that you would be working in. So we're going to visit Cattery. We're going to do like a real quick in and out of K9, and I'm going to mute myself while I'm in there. I'm also going to show you the colony rooms, the volunteer cubby, and the laundry room so that you can see Mount Kilimanjaro. Okay. Just feel like you guys need to see that. So off we go. I apologize in advance if there is a disconnection. Again, not very tech savvy. And the Wi-Fi is kind of spotty on one side of the building. So we're just gonna see what we have, all right?
If we lose her, I'll be with you and we'll wait for her to come back.
Actually, oh God, what the cutest little cat. Lord have mercy. It's ridiculous how cute. Okay. Walking through the hallways with a branded mask. Oh yeah. Okay. And I guess I have to turn the camera around. Oops. Probably helps if I move the cover. All right. So let's head into Cattery. Come on down. You can see staff is still working very hard to make sure that things are done. Okay, this is Cattery, so really not much has changed, guys. The cats are still very happy. As you know, it is kitten season. What up? Got Cauliflower, they all have really interesting and cute names. Even still, you can see Sydney on the opposite side of me. We are allowing members of the public to come in. It is by appointment. So they are unlocking the door each time one of those folks comes in. But this is basically the same as it ever was, except for Catnip. What? Did you know that Catnip was a member of the Mint family? I didn't either. But anyway, we have Catnip now. Live Catnip headed out of Cattery. This is pretty much the lobby area. Not much has changed. We still have those safari cages where we keep the younger children. You can see the staff here hard at work. I think they're sweaty, so they probably don't want to be on camera. All right. I'm gonna head around to the colony rooms. Is that so? This is the voice that you're hearing. This is Tapioca, and Tapioca is pretty cute, I gotta say. Okay. Coming back around. Really not many changes with the colony rooms either. I think I will just go ahead and go on in. Same stuff, different day, right? Not many changes here. Children still beating on the outside of the windows. That's par for the course. That's just how that goes. Right. Again, we are allowing members of the public into these spaces with an appointment. There's a limited number of people that are coming in, which is a good thing. All right. So let me see. How do I flip this camera? All right. So now I am going to go into K9. I'm not sure why we call Cattery and K9 we don't call Doggery. I prefer to call it Doggery. So we're going into the Doggery. And I'm going to try to mute myself because it's going to be pretty loud.
So while Tamara's muted, yeah, nothing much has changed in well, we're going to call it the Doggery now. We got a lot of big dogs with us, some that have been, long-term stays, unfortunately. We've had a lot of puppies come in and go right back out. They're just as quickly adopted as they always were. But yeah, we'll be happy to have y'all back and helping. Nothing's changed with the dog walking board. Still doing the things we've been doing. the same way.
How do I do this? This is a new addition. So there are windows now that you can see out of. I know that wasn't something that we had before, and those are on both sides. You're good, Loretta, you're good. Okay, you can see Loretta's walking the dog down the hall. We are still wearing masks. On Friday, you should have received an email from me. We've actually updated the mask policy. So those will be optional for those of you who are fully vaccinated. This dog was very excited. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's see. Very excited dog. I'm sure you guys heard that. All right. I'm turning the camera towards me because I don't want you to see the hallway. It still looks like it did when you left. We're using it as a storage closet. Okay. All right, now we have finally, oh, here's another new thing. So I'm in the laundry room now. Is a key in the back
Sounds like to
front door. I'll make sure that you guys receive that. Uh-oh. I feel like did I get disconnected there for a minute?
So you were frozen. We didn't hear anything you said about the new keypad.
Of course. Yeah, of course. So there's a new keypad on the back door. I will send you the key code. It's exactly the same as the key code to enter the West Auditorium doors. We just did that so that we didn't continue to have a lot of traffic coming in from the back. You know, there's a lot of transient traffic, of course. The CSRs will also be given that code, so they'll be entering through that door as well. That's something that you guys should know. There's a very limited number of CSRs right now participating in the program, but they will have access to that key code. In the event that they choose to share that with someone, we will update that. They have been asked, obviously, not to. And Sarah Hamill is responsible for their management. So she will have an idea of who's doing what, when, where, why, and how. I'm gonna flip this camera around and let you guys see the laundry room. Look at this, and it looked just like it did when you left a year and a half ago. There's towels. We had a group of young high school students in here today helping to do laundry. Okay, someone's ringing the doorbell, but I'm gonna act as if I don't hear it because, yeah. Still down, you know, limited to 2 washers and 2 dryers. But this is an area you'll see once I send you the information. You can sign up for shifts to either come in and socialize animals if you choose, or you may also sign up to do shifts in the laundry room. The CSRs will still be limited to helping us with the laundry room as well as just kind of general maintenance around the building. So just kind of keep that in mind. Something else that's new is that everyone's going to have to sign up for a shift. So it used to be that you could just kind of come in when you felt like it. But now, in order to keep a better record of who's here, when, and where, we're having you guys actually sign up for shifts, and that'll include CAT volunteers. There will be some limitations on it. I'll be making some changes to that pretty soon. Currently, we have it listed where it's like volunteer 1, volunteer 2, volunteer 3, and those are all individual slots. But moving forward, as we come back and we kind of relax on a little bit of those restrictions, you'll see something to the effect of level 1 and level 2 for CAT volunteers, and you'll sign up for one of those shifts. Probably limit that to like 3 or 4 people per, and then you'll see higher level brat and then lower level brat. So that would be blue on down, and then yellow and up would be higher level. All right, so that'll be that. I am now going to show you the cubby. I won't go outside because I feel like the Wi-Fi probably won't work, but there is a new dog.
I was waiting to see what she's gonna say about her new dog. What? hopefully we'll get her back here. in just a minute.
Yeah, I was frozen. So
You
we're
were
not even gonna
frozen.
go to the
We heard
volunteer
new
cover.
dog. We heard new dog and that was all we heard.
Oh, there is a new dog poop bag dispenser outside. Outside of the runs area. So I'm actually headed back to the office, Layla. I don't know if that's gonna cause issues because we're so close to one another.
We should be okay.
iPhone left. All right, so let me get back in here. All right. Sorry about that, guys. Let me mute myself.
So Tamara's going to switch over to her laptop. So we'll give her just a second to do that.
Unmute. Okay. Can you guys hear me okay? Awesome, 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 awesome. Okay, so what I was saying is that there's a new poop scoop situation outside. Poop bag thing. You know I'm a cat person. I don't know how to explain it. You know what I'm talking about. Don't look at me like that. All right. But that's basically the short of the long. I apologize for having to cut that a little short, guys. I don't get great signal in all of the areas of the shelter. But at this time, I feel like I want to open up the floor to any questions that you guys may have that maybe I didn't address while on the tour. We can kind of have a little organic conversation. Yes, Paula, don't forget to unmute yourself.
I just did. You can hear me, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, I have a couple of questions. For the sign up, if you don't want to sign up for a whole shift, I've been reluctant to sign up because I don't want to take away from somebody else who might be able to work the whole shift. So what do I do?
You sign up for the shift anyway, and then you leave when it's convenient for you. Because I am going to actually create more spaces. So right now it's limited to just maybe one person per slot. I'm going to be opening up more slots. So that means that there would be the potential for at least maybe 5 brats to be on one particular shift. Because we understand that life happens. Sometimes you have this or you have that, or maybe you're just not physically able to stay for that long. That's fine, but we would prefer that you sign up.
How long are the shifts?
Shifts are from 2 to 3 hours.
Guess we'll see when we sign up, but are there particular days and times that are kind of high need right now?
Definitely still the same, like weekday, kind of midday situation, of course, is suffering. But what I can do is, I know Cameron had run a report for me. I could give you an idea of when we need the most help. The way that I've currently set the system up, once you sign up on the calendar, the spot will not appear on the calendar. So what that means is, like, if you see a particular date and there are slots available, you'll know for a fact that there aren't other folks signed up for that day. Is a really good way to judge that. Great question.
So are you saying that you don't want anybody to come in who hasn't signed up? I mean, if you.
Absolutely. I need you to sign up. And here's the reason why. So we are still in the middle of a pandemic, and I see your hand being raised there, Stephanie. I'll get to you here shortly. We are still in the middle of a pandemic, and the thinking is such that you signing up for a shift is a transcript. If someone were to become ill, we could actually look at our records and tell who was here on what particular day and who we needed to notify as a result of someone, letting us know that they had become ill.
Okay, are we still also recording our hours the way we used
You
to?
better be, or I'm going to come to your house because I got your address on file and I'm going to find you and I'm going to be so mad about it. Yes, please. It's really important for you guys to record your hours. That's the second way that we know that you were here, right? And especially if you're saying, Paula, hey, I see that this is a 3-hour shift, but I'm only able to stay for 2 hours. It's going to be really important for you to log those 2 hours. Those numbers don't just go to some magical place. I do a report each month to see how many hours you have done. And the more often that you're actually recording your own hours, the more accurate those are going to be. Sometimes when we apply for grants, it will ask us certain things like, how many volunteers do you have that are currently active and how many hours have they committed? And there are certain thresholds that will allow us to actually apply ourselves to a grant based on the number of hours in our system.
Okay, and how do we sign up? I don't.
I'm going to
have
give
the-
you all of that in a document where I have taken screenshots. You know, I'm the queen of screenshots, and I'm going to give you the steps 1 through 5. So I'm actually going to show
Good.
you how to do that. I've kind of changed things and simplified them. Instead of having you look at the list, I'm going to have you look at what they call the opportunity calendar. But that'll be something I'll send you all as follow-up following this meeting.
Good.
More questions?
Okay, I'm going to give you one last question, then I'm going to move on to Stephanie and then Gloria and then Ellen. What you got?
Okay, are you giving away those masks that you were wearing? That looked
I
like-
am not. These are branded masks. I can talk to the development team to see what they're talking about. I don't know if you saw my email that I sent earlier, but as of this Friday, the 9th, masks will be optional for those of you who are fully vaccinated. Obviously, if you don't feel comfortable coming without a mask, we encourage you to continue wearing your mask. But I can ask the development team. I don't know who ordered these. I think Dr. Luke might have ordered them. They're pretty cute, huh?
Yeah, I like it, and I like
Yes.
the way it's designed. It looks like
Yeah,
you're
it's very breathable, the little nose thingamabobber. I agree.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you so much, Paula. Stephanie, what you got for me?
Okay, we answered one of them about how to sign up, so I'll wait for that one.
Mhm.
Sarah's note, if I remember, she said right now there's like a 13% volunteer participation. Is that correct? Something like that?
That's about right.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Here-
about right.
Here's what I think is important to me, probably important to a lot of other people, is how do we recreate this community we had? Because I think as people aren't doing this for so long, they're
Yes,
trying to not want to come back. It's like, how do we, even if they're not ready to come in,
yes.
how do we get everybody together, even if it's gonna be via Zoom, not just for something like this, doing a tour,
I would love to.
you know?
I would love to do that. I think also a big portion of it. So for a long time, it kind of was bad timing. Yahoo groups died at the same time that the pandemic happened. And that's why I asked you guys that question on that sign up form. Are you a member of the group's IO? Getting you guys into that group and having people continue to kind of be actively talking to one another, asking questions, forming the community is in that space is basically what we're going to have to do. So we have to rebuild. Yahoo died. But now we have this group's IO. I think that's going to be a really good platform to do it. And I would be more than happy to host a Zoom conference like this at any time for anything, whether that just be a, hey, how are you, check-in, yappy hour kind of a thing. I think that could work. The next thing that we were thinking about after reaching out to those of you who were inactive but still members of our system, maybe the next step is reaching out to friends and family, encouraging you guys to have any friends or family members that may be interested in volunteering, having them come in and getting them acclimated into the system before reaching out to the general public. Because at this time, I still don't have any new volunteer orientation sessions on the books.
Okay, so you don't, all right, at this point, you don't even know.
Not at this time, because I mean, I used to schedule those for the entire year well in advance, but we're kind of treating this with kid gloves.
Mhm.
You know, it's like, we've never dealt with something like this before, but we thought, okay, let's invite the volunteers who are inactive first. And then maybe as we kind of get more of you guys in and rolling, then we reach out to your friends and your family.
Yeah, and I think, the groups IO, I think is okay, but not everybody, sees a lot of those messages. So I think if there's others even on this call right now that want to help try to recreate, I'll help join a task force, whatever you want. But I think we need that because I don't think the percentage is going to go up drastically.
Nor
until
do
we get
I.
Everybody, because people obviously, they volunteer because they love, animal welfare rescue.
Right.
Totally, but they also like being around other people that like the same things.
For sure.
The same ideas, whatever. So that's just, I'm happy to help if you need.
No, I love that
think there's
idea.
Others that would like to do that, but.
I love that idea. I don't know if I can convince Layla to help me run the tech since I'm clearly an idiot and don't know how,
No,
but.
I'm in, I'll help.
No, and it shouldn't require a lot. Like, honestly, if it just, we used to have a long time ago, I mean, I've been, I think, a volunteer 8 years,
Rep
quarterly
meetings.
something or other. Just even if there was really not much on the agenda, I think it's just to get people together, even if we can't all physically be there,
Sure.
something other like that. But
I think we could do a hybrid version of something like that because then that's why I thought this was so important because seeing is believing, it's like out of sight, out of mind.
Correct.
You
And
don't see your
it won't cost any money as far as just trying to get people together, but we're talking about really everybody. I mean, because you can get quite a few people on a Zoom call.
It's so
Um,
true.
But I know like the Orange Brats have their own group. And so a lot of times there's a lot of communication there. And I even saw someone had posted, is there anybody interested in having our own little group? And it really is like, can we all just be cohesive, no matter what level you are, brat or cat, and just all work together? Because I think
like that.
for their mental health too, it will really help.
Yes, for sure. No, I mean, I'll shoot you an email. I'm just gonna write that down and then I'll shoot you an email and we can kind of maybe write out like a little template of what we're thinking could work and
Anything really
maybe
to help
just
you
make
guys.
it fun for the first one.
Exactly, but also to help you all get the numbers you need, because I
Sure.
have to say, I haven't been there for so long, and when you get out of it for so long, it's very hard to get back in.
Right. Well, because you have no clue what's going on.
Yeah, but
You
it's
know,
also
you don't
out
know
of-
what to expect.
Yeah, and you're out of a routine, so that's
Right.
hard too, I think, for some.
Right.
Thank
That's a
you.
great idea. I love that. Thank you. Gloria, what you got
Um,
for me?
I know you want to do a refresher on the calendar, but I can't remember how to log hours either. So will you be able to do a refresher on what's the platform and
Yes,
how
ma'am.
to go about doing that? Because I have no clue right now.
It's been a long time. I get that. So I'm writing notes down. I have what I call a help sheet written for that as well. I can send you the link. I'll include the My Impact link. And if you have forgotten your password or username, I can reset those too.
Okay.
So I've got you covered as far as that goes. Anything that you need with that volunteer portal, for good, bad, or indifferent, I am your resource for that. So I can help you out with that. Absolutely.
Okay, and you did say that the public is by appointment only, so people are not allowed to come in and take a look at the animals. They have to.
Well, that's what they're doing during their appointment.
Oh, okay.
So that's exactly what they're doing during their appointment. And I see your note, Susan. Awesome. So yeah, when they're coming in for their appointment, they're giving them some time to kind of look through, view the animals, sit in the visitation rooms with those animals, have an opportunity to meet them and doing the counseling as well. But we're just limiting the number of people so that it's not like it used to be where it was just the doors were open and folks were kind of walking through at all times. And that may change in the future as, things progress. But for the time being, that's kind of what we're focused on.
Okay.
I
And
did
just
learn
wanna
something
say
today.
yay to Stephanie for wanting to make things a little more, a lot more camaraderie, because
I dig it.
there have been a lot of times over the years that I've kind of felt sort of like it ran a little cliquish, with Orange being with, like I'm not worthy or something.
Right.
And I think that Stephanie's idea will help, smooth that over and make you feel.
I love that idea. I really do.
Yeah.
I struggle as a cat person to understand dog people. I'm teasing, but no, well, I think it's a really great idea to have just like one cohesive unit because it really is about the sheltering and the animals in general. So, and as Stephanie said, everyone is important. So let's make it about everyone. I really do love
And
that
I
idea.
realize that when you are on a shift, I mean, it's hard to like
Sure.
with one another all the time, because I mean you're focused on your animals. Sometimes they're reactive. I mean,
Right.
you're busy, but a simple hello in the hallway when you pass someone is okay.
It's true. It's true. And as the more I think about it, I think maybe virgin mimosas on Saturdays, since I work on Saturdays, is maybe how we do that. Maybe we do a Saturday brunch or something. And I offer snacks and treats where people can just like pop in and we make it more about because Saturdays are pretty busy days from a standpoint of having enough volunteers to actually do the work that needs to be done, that we could probably relax and be a little more social. So I will definitely keep that in mind.
Thank you.
You bet. Ellen.
So in addition to the things that others have requested, like how to log hours and stuff, I don't remember any of that. I think we switched from whatever the previous system was to My Impact.
It's the same system. They just changed the name.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
the other thing is, will you send out a link for us to join the chat groups? Because
Yeah, I'm gonna do all that. That's why I asked.
okay, because
I'm gonna do all the things.
I'm off of that as well.
I got you.
Okay.
I got you. Absolutely. And I may even ask you some additional questions. It may be like a 2-part follow-up because there may be some of you who do not feel as confident that you understand or remember the training. So I'd also like to get an idea of that as well so that I know who needs support. Awesome. Mina.
Yeah, thank you for all the information you're going to give about logging in.
Oh yeah, it's been a minute, it's been a while.
Yeah. One question I had was, I think when reading the email, it said that they're not having enough people to volunteer. So you said each shift is from 2 to 3 hours. So is there a minimum number of time that you want us to register for, or is it pretty up to us as to what?
It would be ideal, obviously, if everyone who signed up for shift was able to stay throughout the entirety of the shift. That would be ideal. But at the same time, we understand that volunteering is voluntary. So you come and you do what you're able to do. Basically, your arms extend so far, right? And as far as they extend, you can grasp everything within them. Anything that falls outside of that doesn't belong to you, and you just let it go. Come back as you're able to. If that's small bits, come back in small bits. I don't want you to stress yourself out and be burnt out within the first week. I don't need you to come 5 days a week because you have 5 days free time. I saw a meme the other day that said, do not confuse somebody's free time with their availability. They're not the same thing. So I want you to do what works best for yourself. You know what I mean? We are all one community. Staff has obviously been taking care of a lot of things in the absence of volunteers. I think that the addition of any number of volunteers doing any number of things is going to be really helpful for us. So don't overextend yourself. Would I like you to stay for 2 or 3 hours if that's what the shift is? Yes, but even if that's just 1 hour that you can stay, you got a dental appointment, you can pop in and do this and treat it that way. So treat yourself well is I guess what I'm saying.
That's helpful. And the other thing is also, I think I answered no to the IO group because I had no idea what that question was about. So when you send out, you will send out the information as to how to join the group.
I will. In fact, what I'll do is I will send an invitation directly. So it's not anything else that you'll have to do. Me seeing that no means I know I need to add you onto that.
Okay, great.
All
right, thanks.
You are very welcome. It looks like Ellen, you have another question for me as well. And then Paula.
Yeah. Did I understand you correctly that if a shift on a certain day doesn't have an opening, it won't appear?
If correct. So it won't even appear on the calendar.
So does that mean that there's only one person per shift?
Let me explain it. So basically the way I have it written out now is for brats, for instance, it'll say dog walker number 1, dog walker number 2, and dog walker number 3. Each of those 3 slots will afford one person the opportunity to volunteer. If someone is signed up for slots 1 and 2, the only thing you're going to see on the calendar for that day would be shift 3. And that's for each of the shifts. And I have pictures of that to try to make it make more sense. Because me saying it out loud sounds ridiculous. Even hearing myself say it, I don't know what I'm saying.
No, I understand it now. That clarified it. Thank you.
Awesome. Paula, you had a question as well for me?
Yeah, is there any way of indicating when you list the shifts, is there any way that somebody could put in the time? Say if you know you're only going to be there for part of the shift, could you say
that would be where that group IO would come in. So that's where you're going to say in the group, hey, I have signed up for XYZ shift on this day, but I'm going to be leaving at 10:30.
Oh, okay.
So that's what you're going to use as a communication forum.
Okay.
I had kind of within My Impact, formerly known as My Volunteer page, there is a thing in there where you can email the committee, but unfortunately I can't separate it from cat and dog volunteers. So if you sent it there, it would go out to every single volunteer who's currently active. And I see you, Nilu, on the special operations team. So we'll have you use the group's IO instead for that. Did that answer that question for you, Paula, whose face I'm now trying to find because the squares are moving?
And I
Okay.
had a different unrelated question. Is there any limit to how many people can be in the break room at one time? And
I mean, the room itself is only about 8 feet wide, so I would say maybe one person should be in there. Honestly,
I mean, I've been in there when there were two, and it seemed like that's all I've ever seen is two maximum, but
I'm just saying the room. So if we're telling you to keep 6 feet distance and the room isn't even 6 feet wide, it would be tough to do that. Does that make sense?
yeah, except I think if you're sitting one at one end of the room and one at the other, that it would be 6 feet.
I'm just gonna ask you to use your best discretion and keep 6 feet distance from others. That's the best way I can answer that for you. All right, let's see. I'm gonna go Nilu and then I'll come back to you, Mina. What you got for me, Nilu?
So, when you were saying, like you can join the IO group, if let's say Paula signs up for a shift from 1 to 2 and she says she has to go and I decide to come in, but then how do you track me? Because you're only recording, I mean, Paula has taken the shift for that whole 2 hours and I'm breaking that shift and coming in because I see that she has posted an IO. So how do you track that then?
I love where you're going with this. So I have currently added all the shifts through July 31st, and beginning on August 1, I'm going to be changing them so that more than one person can sign up for a particular slot. It'll just be you either sign up for the high level slot or the lower level brat slot, and there may be 4 or 5 persons who can sign up for each of those. So then we won't run into that issue. Unfortunately, through the remainder of this month, we just don't have a choice because of the way that the system kind of limits my ability to change that.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
You're very welcome. I feel like Mina, you had a question again?
Yeah, I think it may have been answered by the question that Neil posed, but I'm guessing until July 31st, you could have more than one person. I'm in the cat category, cat person. You could have more than one person in the category. Is there a maximum?
Yeah, I mean, as long as you're keeping your distance, absolutely.
Okay.
So the way that it's set up for cats now, I did a tiny little override. So I think cat was like, we only did 3 volunteers total, but now cat slot number 1 will actually accommodate 2 people. And the same for dog volunteer 1, it actually accommodates 2 people.
But the idea is that it's not going to be overlap, like one person would be, say, for 1 hour, the other person would be for the second hour.
Well, no, it would absolutely be for the same shift.
For the same.
But the thing of it is like there's so much space in here. You've got the option, especially since we're now not competing as much with members of the public being in those visitation rooms. You can always take a cat in a transfer cage into a visitation room if you wanted to visit, or visit in the colonies, or visit any of the safari cages. Same thing, transfer them over to a visitation room. And I have separated the treatment room shifts from regular cat socialization shifts.
Okay.
So that way I can get more people in, but you're not competing with someone who's, say, signing up for a cat shift, but just intends on being in the treatment room that whole time. So those have also been separated. Great questions. Ellen, you got another one for me. What you got?
Yeah, I've been kind of hesitant to come in again because we're going to be away for a month from mid-August to mid-September. Do you want me to come for the, like the next month or so?
Of course.
Okay.
I mean, here's the thing, like we all have schedules, right? We all live lives. Unfortunately, we don't really take vacations. And the last time I took a vacation, I went to Spain, and I digress. Come in when you're able. Even if you know you've got travels that are planned 3 weeks out, you dedicating your time when you can is going to be more helpful to us than you at home thinking about coming back after your vacation 4 weeks from now. You know what I mean? You come and you do what you can when you can. Absolutely. We want you here. I hope you guys feel that. Is my face convincing enough? The camera on the iPad, of course, much better than the one on my laptop. But yeah. Hui, where are you at? You're off camera. Where are you? With your handsome face. Kavita, where are you? I see a cute little dog, but we can't see your face. We want to see you.
I'm doing some errands.
Oh, well, excuse
I'll
me,
sit
Mr.
down.
HEB.
I'll sit down and show myself.
Excuse me, Mr. HEB. I actually ran into Hui the other day, out living my life as a civilian.
Yeah,
We almost didn't recognize each other.
it was so crazy. And
It
I
was-
didn't
it
haven't
was
seen you
wild.
with your hair either.
I know. I look just the same, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of. Does anybody else have any? Oh, Gloria, I'm sorry. I see your hand there. There's a
Well,
lot for you to pay
I
attention.
know somebody just said that that adoptions are still, going strong. How is that though? I mean, will they eventually plan on opening it back up to the public, or is that kind of
I
not
am-
even in the foreseeable future?
I imagine that it will, because they're doing Zoom
Yeah,
meetings with people as well as like the scheduled in-person stuff. Coordination of any kind is challenging.
yeah.
So I imagine as the demand continues to grow that it may be more challenging to do that. And so we may eventually, as we start to relax other restrictions, that eventually we want to open our doors to the public, right? That's the hope. But I just think we're kind of erring on the side of caution
Yeah.
at this point.
But
Given
the
that
adoptions are still strong.
they are. I mean, everybody was stuck at home for a year and a half. So they were like, what ill-fated decision could I make to better I know. I'll go adopt a dog that will have separation anxiety after I return to the office. So yeah, I think a lot of people were looking for companionship. And you got to think too, my thought is that because they're not having to compete with so many other people kind of zooming and booming through a building, how much easier is it for them to get that undivided one-on-one attention through a Zoom call or through an appointment and really make a firm decision on, you know what, I feel like I've gotten really good background information on this animal and I feel confident that I should take this particular animal home. So I think that had a lot to do with it as well.
I can add something that I just found out like this afternoon. People are making appointments, but of course, y'all know if you've been here before that we get walk-ups constantly. I did hear that if someone walks up and like they're between appointments and it's not crazy busy, they'll let people in, if it's not too wild in there. But if they're just really booked with appointments, they're telling people to please make that appointment. But yeah, I feel like we're already kind of evolving a little bit because again, the walk-ups just happen all day long.
Right. And the door is locked.
And the
I should
door's
mention
locked,
that.
yes.
So there's a keypad in the back and on that west auditorium door, and the front doors remain locked. And the adoption staff is actually watching that door. Another thing that they're doing that's different that hadn't been happening in the past is they're answering the phones more regularly. If you've been with us for a long time, at one point we actually had someone who was minding the phones, like that was their role. And so now adoption has kind of pivoted into doing this like hybridized version of consultations as well as answering those phone calls, because that's what we're relying on. The signs outdoor on the outside of the door are saying, call us. So there is someone answering that, which is a bit different. I used to get all those calls on my phone, actually. So Ellen, you got one more for me, and then Mina.
Yeah, it's been publicized nationally that a lot of pets, especially dogs, have been returned who were adopted during COVID as companions. And now that people are going back to work, they don't have time or interest or whatever. Has that been an issue at our shelter?
Absolutely. I mean, we are not immune to that. I don't know the numbers exactly, so I can't tell you what percentage or if it's any higher than it has been in the past. But as always, we are more appreciative of them bringing those animals back to our shelter than putting them in a compromising position because they couldn't care for them. We're going to focus on the positive today, folks. You see how happy those dogs were barking at me when I walked through Doggery? You saw it. You saw him smiling. You saw those cats
Someone
happy.
someone here did mention that they were expecting more returns than I think we had seen. So hopefully
we'd
we're on
seen.
the lower side of that, than I've seen the same articles. It's like, oh, that's kind of heartbreaking. But
Yeah.
hopefully we're
Well, I mean,
staying on the lower
it's just the reality
It's
of
the
it.
reality of it. Yeah, absolutely.
You know, it's the reality of it. And sometimes that's just the way things are, given that if you imagine you adopt a dog at the beginning of the pandemic, you are home 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The first day you go back to the office, the dog eats your entire sofa. The second day you go back to the office, he eats the entire door frame. It's like, well, I know I have to be at the office on day 3. So day 4, I'm going to bring him back to the shelter because I don't have the time and energy to put into training this dog not to eat entire units of furniture in my home. It really is tough and challenging. So we don't blame them. I say I appreciate that people bring them back to the shelter. That's the key. They're not kicking them out on the road or doing some crazy thing. I feel like it was you next, Mina. Is that right?
Yeah, the quick question, before the COVID situation, in terms of the cattery, if there were the potential adopters could come in to a cattery and check out the animals, spend time with them. Is that still the case?
It is still the case. And the only reason I know this is because I was here yesterday and there was a couple that the adoption staff let into the area. Still stands that they may not open the cages or anything of that nature. I think it was more so that they could have a better view and then come back to that adoption counselor, let them know who they were interested in. And at that point, they would transfer them to a visitation room.
Okay, and maybe there is, but is there some kind of list of what they can or cannot do when they're in the cattery? Because the volunteers do not know that. And so we're the only ones with them. And so we don't want to be rude to them to say that, okay, don't do this or do this, So is it possible to put something up that will help?
Let me see what I can work on.
Okay.
I can talk to our media people. I feel like because the adoption staff is doing this by appointment, they're counseled so well before they go in there. You don't have the person who's been counseled well versus the person who just walked off the street with the 4-year-old who has zero manners whatsoever because they're just living a different lifestyle than you and I lived when we were raised. But I will look into that. The kids I'm talking about. You saw those kids pounding on that window while I was in the colony room. You saw them. So list of, I'm just going to call them social graces of the cattery, of cattery, because it really would be helpful. Some people aren't familiar with cats or familiar with just manners in general. It's a foreign concept.
I was not aware that there was a list of things that they cannot do because they tend to see volunteers open cages. They think they can do that too. I mean,
even though you have on like a whole volunteer shirt, a name tag, you look official, you clearly know what you're doing. They're like, I'm going to do this too. Yeah, it's strange. It is strange. Oh, Aaron Jolly's texting me. Everybody and their mom is texting me and emailing me at this point. Did I miss the meeting? You did. I'm afraid you did. But I'm recording this and I'm going to look and see how bad the jokes were to figure out whether or not I want to share it on Saturday or to start from scratch. Somebody else have a question for me? Yes, Miss Susan. Unmute yourself.
Sorry, the cat that I got from AHS is laying on the button.
That sounds right.
He's trying to put his head in. I had a Zoom meeting with a potential client at 4:00 and he kept walking in front. I'm like, please be animal lovers. My question is one I've posed to Hamill a couple of times, and since it's been a day or two, I thought I'd ask you guys if you have any idea when we might get cats back at Petco. It's my understanding that
they are at PetSmart.
Right.
That is going to be a Cameron and Hamill question.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Cameron's been really managing that.
Yeah, I think Hamill said she was going to ask because the last time they reached out to Petco, they weren't quite ready because they were still sort of gradually inviting the public back in also.
Kind of locked down. Okay.
Just because for those of us who, despite the pandemic, still are chained to a computer for most of the day,
They have longer hours.
Right.
Yeah.
So
You know what? There is also an off-site cat IO group.
which I need to be in if I'm not, and I don't know. I'm with whoever it was that says I may have said no to the IO group thinking it was some kind of spam. So will you please check for me too?
I got you. I've written everybody's name down, and what I'm going to do is just kind of do a quick and dirty, because Kavita, I feel like I needed to get you trained with mom, right? Was that the skinny? Okay. I don't know how I remember that.
So we have done the orientation with you. And
You did, but I don't think she did.
she was with me because I brought her to the orientation.
I'll reach out to you guys, and
Okay,
I'll handle that personally and get it squared up. So that it could be an operator error.
Okay.
Yeah, that is not uncommon for me. If you've ever met me, you know I am famous for sending emails. It's like, please see attached, and there's no attachment.
We all do that, friend. Trust me.
It's just, well, but you know what's even more sad about it is that Outlook has this thing where it's like, are you sure
Do you
you want to
still
send
wanna
this? Because
send?
you said that you had an attachment and there isn't one. And I'm like, yeah, send it. Like I said what I said. And then I get this email from somebody that's like, yeah, I don't see the attachment. So, but I'll get that all squared up. Did anybody else have any questions? Rose, you feeling good over there? You got any questions for me?
No, I'm just taking it all in. I mean, I was a volunteer for just a month before the pandemic started, so it was apprehension like getting back in. So I feel like
Certainly.
I'm just restarting from scratch.
Certainly. Do you feel pretty confident about the training? Were you cat or dog? Remind me.
I was a cat. I was
Okay.
So yeah, for that part, I guess I would have to get back in there for the training. I feel like I remember that fairly well.
If you feel confident, and that's probably, again, I'll probably do another little poll, send it out to you guys in that first follow-up. If you feel confident that you remember things and you're just ready to rock and roll, I'm gonna let you rock and roll. I'm gonna put the guitar in your hands. If you feel like you could use a little assistance, I'm gonna try to get you a little more assistance so that you can feel confident doing what you do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
You know what I mean? I don't want anybody to feel like I'm not forcing you to do any of this. You know.
Maybe offering onboarding to people who want it.
Well, that's literally what yeah. I just need to know who needs it. Yeah. Is there anybody, just from a show of hands on the brat side, that needs onboarding? I mean, most of you guys are
just with the software.
Just with the software?
Just on the computer.
Okay. I'm loving the long hair, by the way.
Thank
Speaking
you.
of rock and roll.
It's going away.
No,
It's too hot.
it is way too high. You see, I cut all mine off. It was time.
Bill, they do a man bun, you know.
Oh my God, that would look great, Bill.
No.
No, come on.
Braid it, Bill. Come on, braid it.
Just saying.
I vote man bun too, Stephanie. I'm right there with you. Anybody else have any questions before we wrap it up? Thank you guys so much again for being patient with me as I struggled with the technology to get this Zoom call started, as I walked through areas of the shelter that you had already seen before and lost signal. I mean, you were so, as I switched devices, all right? But I think what I gathered from this is that you guys most need support with the login, logging the hours. What the heck is my freaking password? Because I don't even remember. I'm gonna get you guys all squared away on that. One last thing before we go, let me just make sure I've got all the names. If I don't call your name, just let me know. I've got Mina Thomas, Susan Souch, Bill. Is it Shear or Shire, Bill? I've never known.
Shire.
Shire, it is Shire. So I've been pronouncing it right this whole time. Is it Schleich, Maggie?
That'll work.
It's not that. Okay, wonderful. I love your honesty. I've got Nilu Coley. I've got Kavita, who I'm going to follow up with you guys because I have probably made some sort of administrative error. But because you guys love us so much, you've been patient with me and don't even judge. EK Weaver. What's your first name, Weaver? You're muted.
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth. Okay. Why didn't I know that? Is it Elizabeth K?
Yeah, I just go by EK.
No, that's really cool because that's I feel like that's a very popular combo with Elizabeth. I can dig it. Is it EK in the system?
I believe so.
Okay, if not, we can make it that, if that's what your preference is.
Okay, yes.
Just so you're aware. I've got Paula Ergen, I've got Mary Hodges, I've got Gloria Fisher, maybe your iPhone. Stephanie, is it Durante? Is that right? Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Close enough. Durante. No, everybody does it.
Okay. Okay. What's
No
the
problem.
origin? What's the origin on that?
Well, we always refer to Jimmy Durante, who was but way before my time because I'm just so darn young.
Same.
But my husband knows him.
I mean, I've got gray facial hair, but
He's just
I
waiting for
digress.
some of his estate money. I don't know.
I got Rose Cerna. I've got Hui Pham. Is that everybody? Did I get everybody? Is anybody missing? iPhone, who are you? Oh, Ellen. Jesus, have mercy, Ellen. You got to get on me. 'Cause you know
Just for that, I'm not coming in for another 6 months.
Well, I never. I said the same thing, but they made me.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Well, cool. I will try to work on, guys, probably sending this information to you next week so that I can send it out at the same time that I send it to the folks who attend the session on Saturday. Is that fair? Okay. I'll probably reach out to you, Nilu and Kavita, before then to try to figure out what I've done. I don't even know. It's so hard to tell which one is mom and which one is daughter, though, now that I'm thinking about this. Right? Anyway, guys, thank you so much. I will see you soon at the shelter. Let's say I'll send that information to you probably Tuesday of next week is my Monday. And by then I will have had the recap on the Saturday group so that I can just shoot it out to you guys all at one time. All right. If you have any questions in the interim, you've got my email. Shoot me an email. That's all I got. I love you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Thank you.